Hello, and welcome to the United Devil channel with me, JP. A little bit late, but look, Portugal is about to start. So look, please feel free to get in there. Give me your chats and give me your comments. So this is your watch along for the match between Portugal and Spain. The young pretender in Yamal, who's old enough to be his dad, Cristiano. So get in there for the match, and the match is literally about to start. If the match has not started, there we go. The match has started already, so we're going to get in there and we're going to start the clock already. So look, guys. Apologies for being slightly late. That's what happens when you're a dad and you've got to do bedtime. So I forgot it was my turn to do bedtime tonight. And yeah, so basically that's why I'm late, because I was doing dinner, doing dinner and being a dad. So look, I hope we're all doing extremely well this evening. I will get into the teams as well. That's why we're just listening to the match as we start. So look, guys, feel free to get in there. This is a Man United fan channel. Hopefully you can all hear me. Hopefully everything's set up correctly. I think it is. So let me know in the chat. I've got the fan going because it's really hot. Hopefully you can hear me and all that good stuff. So look, guys, I hope we're all doing extremely well. Welcome to the best fan channel on this community, hands down. We don't do clickbait on this channel. We do real chat, real talk, and yeah. So look, let's get into it tonight. I will come into the chats. I will come into the comments as I always do, and we will talk about all of the good stuff. So let me get into the chats straight away, guys and girls. See who's in the house tonight as well. Let's see what we got. I'm at, and then we will get in through the teams as well. Scott is in there, the man, the myth, the legend. That is Scott, absolute legend of this channel. Scott says, is it true that people from United are going to Madrid to try to do the deal for Tchouaméni? No, Scott, that is a load of nonsense, a load of bollocks. We're not jetting off to Spain with a consortium to go and get this bloody deal done. We honestly, it's just again, we can talk about that. Let me just sort out the clock as well. What are we? 2 minutes in. Okay, change time. Do that one as well, and I get into the chat. So look, this is a Man United fan channel. And look, get in there with everything you've seen. Sky is in there as well tonight. Absolute Sky is in there. Switch is in there as per usual. The man, the myth, the legend, that is Switch as well. All the crew is in the house. So look, I'd be interested to know what you'll think about what the score is going to be today. I got a sneaky suspicion that Spain are going to win this today. England says spicy chicken wings. Didn't England do well? England did really well. But we will talk about that. So look, let's get into the lineups. So for Spain, we've got Costa, Cancelo, Diaz, Velga, Mendes, Neves, Vitinho, Neto. Sorry, that's Portugal. Sorry, Costa, Cancelo, Diaz, Velga, Mendes, Neves, Vitinha, Neto, Fernandes, Felix, and Cristiano up front. And then for Spain, we've got Simon, Porro, Gerbassi, Laporta, Cucurella, Rodri, Pedri, Yamin, Lamal, Danny Olmo, Biena, and Odathable. So look, guys, do not forget, give the channel a like. It really does help out the channel. And look, please get in there tonight. Now look, you could be anywhere else in the world, but you are here on the best fan channel on this platform. So look, guys, I want to know about your England. Let's talk about England. Let's talk all things England if you want to tonight. Look, what a performance that was. I think even if England don't get to the final, if England don't win the World Cup, look, the fact that England are getting to quarterfinals, semi-finals, and finals every year, it could be worse. You could be the Germans. You could be, knocked out in like the group stages, but you're not. What we're saying. Get in there, guys. Get in there. Could be asleep. So Bellingham was good. I'm still going. I've not slept today, which is not good for me. But it's all good in general. So look, guys, look. as Scott says in there tonight, have United been a Man United fan channel? Have we sent out a consortium to Madrid to go and try and do a deal for Chu? Mainly, look, it wouldn't surprise me. Look, until I hear something else. Look, I unless something credible comes out about that. Look, this is just, again, this is all fake news of people who want you to click. They want you to click. They want you to get onto their channel because it's easy. I could come and tell you that that we're sending out a consortium. We're sending out a consortium. You know, we're gonna get a deal done. You know, it just doesn't make sense to me. And also I've not heard anything about it just yet either. So look, let me, as we're talking as well, look, I will look for updates as well. But yeah, look, let's talk about England. Look, to go to the Azteca Stadium, ridiculous. Ridiculous. To do what England did, and also as well, right? I just have to say this for those people who stayed up last night, right? So for those people who managed to stay awake last night, you know, I think England did the country proud. I really do. You know, to go to the Azteca and to do that is crazy. So look, Portugal, Spain, it should be a really equal match. They've not been beaten there for 13 years. Exactly. Spicy says, you stood up to watch the game, JB. Yeah, I did in the end. I fell asleep for a bit, and then I woke up for the game. So I probably was asleep for about 2 hours, and then I woke up for the game. Dino is in the house, legend. Look, England. Let's talk about them. Brilliant. Did you see my reply? Yeah, let me look. I promise you, I haven't ignored it. I've had loads of messages today, buddy. But I will look at it and I will respond. Let's see what we're saying on there. What are you saying on there, buddy? I will check it out, mate. Don't you worry. Olmo. Spain should be 1-0. Should be 1-0. Woo! Wow. Let me look. I'll have to find it, buddy. I will find it. I will find your comment switch and I will reply to it, mate. Christy, I mean, I've got a question. I've got a question. Do we think what do we think about Bruno Fernandes? Again, look, I'm not going to start some stuff. I think Bruno Fernandes has had a bit of a quiet World Cup actually. I was expecting a little bit more from Bruno Fernandes. You think we'll bid for Chu and mainly big chance offside potential ruined his composure, says Sully. I will come back to the Chu and Maney thing as well. Oof. Kane's voice broke at the end. Harry Kane cracks me up. Oh, all right, mate. Yeah. I like playing for England. I really like playing for England. It's really lovely. Um, I scored a goal for England. But look, like Harry Kane. What a brilliant striker. Um, the man from Chingford. Like Harry Kane. I mean, look, what a wonderful striker. Um, England's performance was great. Do I think, Neil B, that we'll sign Chu and Maney? Look, do I think that we will? The game's on BBC, mate. Do do I think that we will sign Chu and Maney? Rest in peace, Jordan Henderson's wrist. I mean, that was ridiculous. I will come back to the Chu and Maney thing as well. Um, Jordan Henderson's wrist. I mean, Jesus. I mean, what? Why did he even go? I don't even understand why he even went. And his wrist is, yeah. R.I.P. He is his wrist. Yeah, crazy injury. Sully says Bruno should be able to do something in this game. The Portugal midfield hasn't lived up. Bruno has been in the box too much. Been Neves, Bruno, Vitinha ended up in a straight vertical line. Henderson had a fight with an advertisement board and lost. Yeah, I mean, obviously Bruno Fernandes is an absolute quality player. Great save, by the way. Yeah, why did Mainoo go as well? Look, exactly. Kobe Mainoo. Look, England need options. All I'm going to say on this is that I just hope Kobe Mainoo going to this tournament hasn't impacted his confidence. My worry is that it's impacted his confidence. I really, really hope. He does need a game, but I just hope it just hasn't impacted the confidence. And that's all I care about, is that I just hope it's not impacted his confidence. I'm hoping that Kobe Mainoo, it is sad for him, but it's good for us. So look, I just hope it doesn't impact him. Hendo got a yellow, an injury, and didn't even play. Says so. Look, Chu and Maney. Do I think that we're going to go for Chu and Maney? Now, look, let me give you my view. Um, I'll give you, um, I'll give you a view, and it's going to be a scary view. So, do I think that we could go for Chu and Mania? My answer to that is going to be yes. Do I think that we can go for him? Do I think that we can get him? Yes. Now, look, do I think that this signing, and the one thing that I wanted to start on with the Chu and Mania stuff is this: Omar Barada, this club, it has told us this whole season that they are going to be streamlined with money. They're going to, this is a different club. Okay, and they're saying that we're going to be prudent with our money. Danny is in the house, legend, and we're being told that we're being prudent with our money. We're not the same as the old club. Now, look, we've got rid of the big earners. We've got rid of, the Sancho's, Casemiro's gone. Rashford, we're trying to look to get rid of those players. Now, look, I'm not opposed to a Chu and Maney deal. You guys know that I love the player. I would pay 90 million for him. I'll give you an update on the price as well. But there is a problem here. The problem is going to be the price. Now, this is where, for me, I'm scared. Is if they go for Chu and Maney, does it mean we don't get other positions? If it's a case of Chu and Maney, and that's the only other midfielder that we get, is Edison, who by the way is going to sign, is Edison, Chu and Maney, Kobe Mainoo enough, and a young player? Is that going to be enough for the Champions League? So bearing in mind Ugarte, look, my biggest concern here is that we will go and get a Chu and Maney deal done. Put him on 300k a week. Now, look, again, when on this channel, when we talk about fees and wages, look, guys, I could spend ages talking to you about all the financial concepts as to why I'm not overly bothered and why I don't prescribe to this fees and the wages as long as success is there. Look, the Chew and Maney deal here is going to be very, very expensive. But it is not enough. Look, what happens? Let me give you a scenario here. What happens if we get Chew and Maney and we get another 3 players potentially? We're in the Champions League, the league. Is that enough? And then what's going to happen because we've then not got the players that we need, all of the players? Chouameni is going to end up getting blamed because we're going to be expecting a player of 90 million, and again he could be fantastic, but Chouameni is not going to win us the Champions League on his own. Chouameni is not going to score 30 goals a season. We need Chouameni. Big, massive tick. Wonderful player, fantastic player. This is Spain on the attack. Oh, great save. Oh, what a save. Wow. Wow. Save. Wow. Woo. Wow. Wow. So look, the problem for me is as I said there by Neil, look, we need a left back. We need a winger. We need 2 more midfielders. We need a striker. We need another striker. So the worry for me is if we're going to get a Chew and Maney, fine. But as of right here, as of the last couple of weeks, when people were saying that there's a pathway X, Y, and Z, he was going to cost 70 million. If we were to sign Chew and Maney now for 85 million, everyone else can shut up because we weren't doing this deal up until this point. And also as well, the point of this is that if we do Chew and Maney, what else are we going to do? So look, I do feel sorry for Michael Carrick. And also as well, look, if Chew and Maney is back on the market, Real Madrid have put it out there today that they want £100 million. Madrid want 100, which is I think 85, 90 in pounds. That is what they want. So look, let's see what happens. And look, there is time. There is absolute time to do deals. But look, can we do the deal? So let's see. There is, look, it's not all doom and gloom yet, until we sign players, until we can, look to see what these players. But pre-season is starting very, very soon. So we have got to get these players in quick. So let me get through some of the chats. Give me your opinions and let's see. Tuchel didn't learn from Amarin, says Spicy. Garnacho is up for sale. I am not surprised. I'm not surprised. Alonso doesn't want him. I mean, what a waste of money. Look, we bought Mason Mount. We give them Garnacho. Sorry. That's your punishment. I don't think it will affect Kobe. He's been on the bench for Amarin. And that is a good point, Sully. The problem with Chew and Maney is the wages. The transfer fee isn't an issue from what I've read, says Switch. And look, when we're talking about the transfer fees, the wages, and that sort of stuff, look, when these players, if these players get Champions League every single season, the monetary side pays for itself. So let me give you an example. If we get Chew and Maney for 90 million and 300k a week, and he's part of the catalyst and the reason why we get into the Champions League for the next 5 years, it pays for itself. Chew and Maney, to me, if we pay 90 million, 300k a week, and we get into the Champions League every single season for the next 5 years, worth every single penny. The problem is, can we guarantee that? Can we guarantee that? That's not enough. That's a disaster, says Danny. Portugal look up for this now. Portugal do look like they're up for this tonight. Danny, says three mids, a fullback, centre back, and a backup striker. Danny, I agree with you, buddy. I think we need, another winger. Spicy says I'm positive about the next season. Now, spicy. Look, mate, you do me a favour. Look, let me tell you what I'm positive about for next season. So, look, I'm positive the fact that we're in the Champions League, right? Look, whatever happens next season, I'm loving the fact that I'm going to get to hear the Champions League theme song, right? Fantastic. Okay. Shesko, I'm looking forward to Shesko getting better. I'm looking forward to seeing Mbumo, Cunha, hopefully Ahmad as well. Can we bring in some young players as well? Look, I'm looking forward to that. But again, look, Michael Carrick needs players. I'm worried about Michael Carrick. I'm worried about the injuries on that back four. Luke Shaw and co-playing. Look, there are things to look forward to, but I do have concerns. I have some major concerns for next season as well. The funny thing is there are people way less qualified that can make this window amazing. No excuses for Ineos. Plenty of opportunities, and I agree with you. There are opportunities, but the funny thing is that we've got a list. And I think we're just going down last year's list. Pep and Deco are watching the game. I mean, so Pepe, I tell you what, Deco, what an amazing player he was. What would you do if we don't get him? Would you accept Baleba or Scott? Yes, I would, Neil. Yes, I would. Look, I would say right now there is more of a percentage chance of getting Baleba than Chu and Maney. But if look, this is the situation that I think that we are in, right? If Chu and Maney, I think is going to be about 85 to 90 million pounds. I think that's about right. I think it's maybe a touch over 26 elite player. I think that's probably about right. The wages are going to be huge, but again, look, we've got rid of a bunch of wages. Look, do I think that we should be replacing it? Look, the money's there. Look, I want to say the money, the squad cap is there. We can do it, right? If we don't do it, but the problem is, would they rather go and get a Baleba for 75 to 80 than pay another 5 or 10 on go and get Chu and Maney? How they're going to have to do this deal is they're going to have to sell the project. They're going to have to sell it. They're going to have to try to guarantee him that we're going to finish in the Champions League. And this is part of the problem for me as well, is how do we convince a player of that quality to come here? Now, Bruno Fernandes, let's not forget, he wasn't that player that he is now when he came to us. Do we have enough quality players to convince a Chu and Maney? And look, let's not forget here, Chu and Maney's used to playing with Mbappe. He's used to playing with some of these amazing players. And we're going to ask him to come here. And look, we're going to ask him to play with a Kobe Mainoo. He doesn't really know him. We know Kobe Mainoo, or some of us support Kobe Mainoo. He doesn't know our players. We're going to have to go to Madrid. Look, do you trust Wilcox, Omar Barada? Now, the reason why I keep saying this, because it just makes me laugh over and over again. And the reason why it makes me laugh is because, can you imagine a Wilcox and Omar Barada, right, in their white shirts, their khaki trousers, their linen trousers, the hats on, the white shirts, all tanned, rolling into Real Madrid, trying to negotiate a deal with one of the biggest clubs in the entire world, and trying to convince Chu and Maney why he should come to us. I can tell you why. I would love to come and play for us. They can't even convince Matthias Fernandes. And look, let's just forget. Let's just forget if the player's worth X amount of money. Let's forget the player. They can't go to West Ham and convince a player, a relegated player, to snub a team that finished 17th last season. We're in the Champions League. Okay, we finished third. These prats can't go to West Ham, can't convince a player to snub Spurs. And look, this is not against Spurs, by the way. Look, I admire Spurs' ambition, right? But these idiots cannot convince a player to snub 17th place Spurs to come to a Champions League club. How are they? Can someone explain to me? How are they going to go to Real Madrid and convince Chu and Mainey to come to the club without chucking a bunch of money? As much as I like Chu and Mainey, I think he's going to be a panic buy. I think he is. I think they are. I think they're panicking. I think they're panicking, and I think he's going to be a panic buy. But look, let's see. Chu and Mainey can play centre back as well. Exactly, switch. Exactly. Scott said Bruno hates to track back. Yes, he sure does. Salary's washed. Yeah, our squad is not strong enough to do that. Exactly. Pep to take over Spain after the World Cup, and Klopp to take over the Germans. Sky says hello. Willie Wilcox. Willie Wilcox wears soiled trousers. That's why we keep losing targets. Can you? I reckon, Switch. I reckon that Wilcox, he wears his linen trousers and he doesn't wipe properly. So I reckon he's got some pee stains. I reckon he's got like a bunch of pee stains. Yeah, he's a calamity, isn't he? The news that came out after we signed for Spurs that United were just 5 short, sounded like it was planted by the club, so it seemed like we were close. Let's switch. Also as well, it's basically come out that Spurs have offered Fernandes £170,000 a week. So all this again. So all these people, and again, look, if people want Fernandes, I get that. But like we said on here, when people were talking about, we were giving Spurs giving Fernandes 50k a week. It's nonsense. Look, I think 170k is quite rich. But when you buy a player for 85, you're not going to pay him 80 grand a week, are you? So, look, 170k a week. I'm sorry, that is doable. And again, switch as well. We were 5 million off. It doesn't matter. We could be £1 off. We lost the deal. There is no comeback in this deal. There is no where to hide. Look, we went for the player. We wanted the player. We went for the player. We didn't get the player, and that's all it is to say. Look, Spurs convinced him, and that's all it is. So look, we've got to move on now. Look, I do hope some of the reports. I am waiting on my person to come back to me on the Chew and Mainly stuff as well. Look, I know we're talking to an Alex Scott. Look, we could walk away from that deal if we find out the Bournemouth. So look, where we are with Scott at the moment is we are talking with a Bournemouth. We're doing our preliminary talk. So what happens is this. So what happens is if you play FIFA, you basically go and have a preamble. You go and have a chat and say, look, we want to buy your player. Look, if we offer 70 million, do you think that's about right? And they'll say, well, not really. They won't give you the exact amount. And then you do that deal. And then you try to push that deal. That is what we did with the Fernandes stuff as well. So look, that is what we did. That is what we're trying to do here. Bournemouth are adamant on this. I know this. This is something that I've been told that Bournemouth are adamant that they don't want to sell this player. Look, it's going to cost us £80 million. They want a big, they want a big important prize. They want a big important prize. They want a big important prize for Alex Scott. That's my terrible impression of Fabrizio Romano, by the way. So they won an important price, and that is where we are on it. Wilcox on a summer's day, Wilcox is going to stink out the gaff. I think he stinks out the gaff anyway. I think he stinks out the gaff anyway. To be fair, that's the thing. The whole story felt like spin from the club. Exactly. It's all spin. We'll go for that midfielder from Dortmund. Now look again, Neil. Nemicha, I've heard Nemicha, and I think Lee Wood is right. Lee Wood, welcome to the chat, my friend. As always, buddy, absolute legend of the channel as well, Lee. Look, every midfielder will come at a premium price, and yes, it will. Look, I've seen some comments on this channel, and I've seen some comments out and about this, and basically saying everybody needs to keep calm. We what Scott says, dribble. I love it. Look, there have been people saying trust in the deal. We are really early on. Stop complaining because there is time to do deals. Look, there are players off of the market now, and as Leewood says there, every midfielder is only going to go up in price, and also people know that we're desperate. People know that we are desperate for players, so that price goes up. It is supply and demand. Nobody's going to do us a favor in this market. Real Madrid, like I saw some people talking as if we were gonna sign in for 60 million. It's crazy. It's crazy. Look, Nemicha as well. Let's talk about Nemicha. Challenging agents wasn't helpful, was it? We will not be dictated to. How's that going to work out? Says old Mickey. Now look, that was what Omar said. So you are completely correct in that one. So there was a statement put out by the club. And basically, the statement was that we're not gonna speak to agents. We're not gonna let them dictate the market. We are united. We're gonna dictate the tempo. I mean, look, do I agree with agent-led stuff? No, but this is where we're at. And guess what happened? You played that badly, didn't you, Wilcox? Omar Barada. Look, agents, whether people like them or not, agents. I'll tell you who agents are like, and I apologise if there are anybody in this chat who gets offended by this, right? But I'll tell you what agents are like. Agents are like a parking warden, right? Agents are like a parking warden. Nobody likes them. So I do apologise if you are a parking warden. I do apologise if you are. Apologies, not apologies. But agents are like parking wardens. Nobody likes them. They're around. They are around. We sort of know we kind of need them. We don't really need them. But look, they are there. Nobody likes them. Everyone thinks that they're a waste of space, and I'm not saying that at all. But parking wardens, nobody likes parking wardens. Let's be fair. So agents of a football player, agent, agents of parking wardens, agents of players, Willie Wilcox does lack penetration in the transfer market switch. I don't think that Wilcox penetrates deep into the transfer market at all. If anything, I would probably say Wilcox in the transfer market comes up short. That is what I would say. I'd say Wilcox is very premature, and Wilcox definitely finishes early. Enmicha, look, I think Enmicha goes to Arsenal. Look, apparently there's a clause in his contract. Let's see how that goes. Wilcox is another plank like Ed Woodward. When he was there, he was another clown. But I love the fact that you called him a plank. Wilcox is very underqualified considering the previous jobs he's had. Exactly, Switch. What qualified him for this job? What was the best in class? And apparently it was best in class, best in Arsenal, like. Warden Wilcox. Where's at the people who said that Mexico would beat us, says Bran. Now look, Bran, interesting. Look, I thought, look, again, I'm going to hold up my hands here. I thought it was going to be a very, very close game. Look, I'm not English, so look, I'm not biased. I don't lie. I said that I thought it would be a very, very difficult game. I thought Mexico would sneak it for no other reason than Mexico haven't been beaten there in like 80 games. Mexico, look, they did everything that they possibly could to disrupt England. They did everything that they possibly could to make it harder. And Bran, right? This is why the win is so good. This is why the England team should be so proud. This is why I think the English fans, this is why I think England should be so proud. And absolutely, I think absolutely for those people, not me, because I wanted them to win. I wanted them to win, but I just thought because of where it was. But look, fantastic performance, absolutely fantastic, Brand. Both are good with numbers to switch. The only one we had with the sense was David Gill when he went for a player. It got done. It was that simple. I tell you what, Gill was amazing. I've read the Fergie book. Read the Fergie book. Neil says too much protection used, not big enough. Yeah, I think he's too saggy, Neil. I don't think he's big enough for the job. I don't think he's up to the job. Look, read the Fergie book because they used to love getting into transfer battles. The difference is that we used to love it and now we don't. Now we are scared in the window. So bad time. So look, Portugal look up for it. Spain look quite good in the last rounds. We got Felix. Lamine Yamal's been a little bit quiet. This game is calling out for a Bruno Fernandes pass. Cristiano, I think Cristiano, by the way, I think Cristiano has actually been has got better actually. Kind of feel for Mexico they've been the best of the host nations in my opinion. I like Mexico. Look, England were just brilliant. I thought England was so good. It's not often, Scott says, because he uses a Fredo wrapper. I mean, I don't even want to think about it, Scott. Willie Wilcox, yeah. Willie Wilcox. Oh, bless him. I'm sure he's big enough in the transfer market. He does his best, doesn't he? He does his best. Well, look, let's see, shall we? I don't know. Switch says he thinks they're cheaper nowadays. Do you know what? They probably are. I reckon they're phenomenally cheaper than a bar of Cadbury's. Portugal 0, Spain 0. Bit of an interesting game. I think Portugal are probably playing the slightly better of the two. He uses cling film, says Scott. Lovely, lovely, lovely stuff. So look, guys, what do we think of Santos? Wilcox is going to sign Fredo for 39 million. What do we think of Santos? You know, I think, look, as a United fan channel, I think it would be remiss of us not to have a chat about tinfoil helmet. I love it. Having a talk about Santos. What do we think? What do we think? Let's have a little look, see what we're saying. 5 minutes left. This half has gone very, very quickly. This half has gone very, very quick. Portugal with a corner. I hate short corners. I'm not the biggest fan of short corners. Oh, wow, wow, unlucky. Tell you what, Nuno Mendes is brilliant. I think he's fantastic. Santos or Edison are the same. Just Santos is proven. Don't want annoy Fran. You don't want to annoy Fran with that phrase. Edison and Santos equals Fernandez. Yeah, look. The thing is, right, I don't mind Edison and a Santos if we're gonna get Chu and Maney. Look, those two for me hinge on what do we do with the marquee thing. Look, I'm not the biggest fan of this marquee crap, but we do need that. I think Leo would be perfect for this game, says Scott. Do you know what? Leao, the jury's out on Leao, actually. I think on his day, Leao can be fantastic, but he just reminds me too much of Rashford. This game is really, really calling out for a bit of pace, I think. It's nice. Good tackle. This is still with Spain. Rodri's nice. Lamine. Oh, good tackle. Good tackle from Felix. Great tackle. Felix is having a good game, actually. Very, very good tackle. Lamar's been quite quiet. I've got to say, Lamine Yamal has been quite quiet in this game today. Yamal would dive in well. Let's see. And guys, do not forget to give the video a like as well. Please give the video a like. It really does help us out. It really does push the channel out to the community. It does help us out. But look, I wanted to tell you. Look, I wanted to elaborate on the conversation that we had today. So basically, yesterday, Switch says, when has a marquee signing ever worked out? People call back to Cantona and Keane, but they weren't the marquee before we signed them. They grew into it, and people laboured them the marquee. Yeah, I agree with you. Look, this is why I don't like that. I don't like the marquee thing, Switch. I agree with you. But look, let's talk about something a little bit more positive. So look, I had a half an hour conversation with Paul Parker. He's brilliant. Absolutely fantastic player. And I was very, very fortunate that I actually managed to have a conversation with Paul Parker. Now I was wearing my 91-92 red sharp top, and I kind of saw Paul Parker, and I could see him looking over at the shirt, and I was just so eager. So I went over there, and I was having a good old conversation with Paul Parker, who is an absolute legend. What a really nice guy. I didn't really want to go over to speak to him because he was with his family, he was with his son, his granddaughter, and I didn't really want to go over and start. But I kind of I was very polite and just really nice guy. He could have told me to pee off, but no, what a really nice guy. Had a little chat. Spain, and yeah, what a fantastic guy. Really interesting, really interesting opinions as well. Actually, I'm not obviously going to divulge what was said just because look, out of respect, I'm not gonna say. But no, he's not. No, he's not. Paul Parker is not the source. But look, what a really nice guy. I totally, it was like a fanboy. I mean, I didn't know what to say to him. Totally like a right, like a. I was literally like a laughing schoolgirl. Just ridiculous. I didn't know what to say. What can you say to somebody that you had their poster on your wall? You used to watch them as a player. You watched him at a World Cup. um Brilliant. Should have told him so well. um well, I did mention about the channel. I mentioned that he seemed interested. So I did mention the channel. We had a quick chat, and you know let's see what happens. But look, whatever happens, what an absolute fantastic experience. Should have told him to sub. Well, I showed him the channel. Let's see. Barbecue sauce. Is it Ted Lasso? Paul Chom, the pants. I literally switch. It could have been that. It could have been that. It was like a total fanboy experience. Complete fanboy. So look, we'll see. I'm not going to say too much about it, but you never know. You never know. You never know what could happen. So let's see. But look, I did show Paul Parker the channel. And you know let's see what happens. So look, this is Portugal, Spain. I think Portugal have probably been the better team, or I think it's been quite equal, really. um Let me just have a little look, see what's going on. 6 minutes plus. 6 minutes plus. Nice. Oh, bloody hell. um Jesus. I used to work with somebody called Fanny, actually. She was a very nice girl, actually. um Portugal versus Spain without the S. I like that switch. I like it. Yeah, look, it's been probably not the epic, that people thought that it was going to be, but still good. Still an interesting game. That's a good ball. That's a great ball. That's a good tackle as well. João Felix, Nuno Mendes. Nuno Mendes is brilliant. I mean, if I was going to sign a left back or any sort of full back, Mendes would be the guy for me. I think he's brilliant. Fanny was my aunt. Yes, No, Fanny was her name was Fanny Lamb, and that's a real name as well. Um, her name was Fanny Lamb, and she worked in Singapore. Um, true story that. Neves, I don't know, Scott. I don't know. I do like Cancelo as well. Hasn't he just signed? Hasn't he signed with Barcelona though? Hasn't he gone from Bayern Munich to Barcelona? Mm. From a tactical perspective, this game has been great. This is chess and not checkers. I agree with you. I think it's a very fascinating game between two technical players. Lamb. No, Fanny Lamb. And it was spelled Lam as well. So she was from Singapore. So um, yeah, yeah, she wasn't Welsh. I wonder if we'll see Leao in the second half. So he's just about to go into half time now. And that's how JB met Lingling. Well, exactly, Scott. Exactly, buddy. Mm. So 0-0. Look, I think if you're expecting goals, I think very good saves. I think from a technical perspective, a very good technical game. But somebody should score. My granddad, bless him, had a great Scottish name, Willie Dickey. Oh, that's a fantastic name. That is an absolute fantastic name. I mean, look, that is an absolute quality name. Um, I mean, I've worked with some in interesting names as well. So look, guys, I'm just checking. I've literally just had a message come up, and I'm just gonna have a check. Look, the the interesting thing now that can't be ignored is it looks like and I say this with a tentative perspective because everybody else is going to jump all over this um is that look, I think that United um are going to make a move for Chu and Maney. Look, again, people are going to jump all over this, and you're probably going to hear reports tomorrow. Yeah, I've been to Singapore. It is a great place. So look, there are reports, and I think the media is now being briefed. I think the media is now being briefed that United are looking to go for two remaining. Now, look, it would make sense in some respects now because if you think the Fernandez stuff is done, they clearly have the ability to go and get that sort of deal done. So, I'll be all bloody hell sorry. So look, if I hear anything more concrete on the Chew and mainly stuff, I will bring it in. But what we are going to see is we're going to see now the next saga. The next saga is the Chew and Maney saga. Now there are a couple of problems that I can foresee with this deal. Now, as we all know, Barada and Co have said we've got to be financially prudent, etc. Jay says, "Hi guys, hope everyone is well." Yes, Jay, we are good. So, look, the Chew and Mainly stuff. There are lots of deal. There are lots of gates to run through. Oh, sorry guys, absolutely knackered. There are lots of hoops to jump through. There are lots of things that we've got to do before we even get close to it. So I think we are. I think we're going to try to. Also, I think what this would mean is that maybe we're now moving away from a Scott because I think we've gone to Bournemouth, and I think Scott How come your match clock is still going? Because I've not stopped it. There you go. There you go. There you go. Stopped. There you go. All done, buddy. All done. So yeah, I think if we go for Chouamani, and we absolutely do go for that. Look, I think I've stopped the clock now. I think the clock is stopped. I think that clock has now been stopped. Yes, it has. JB's busy ranting, leaving B says switch. Oh, it's done. It's finished. So look, hopefully, hopefully, and finally, have we been kicked into life? Have we been kicked into life? Someone has to keep you on the. Yeah, look, someone has to. Someone has to keep me, especially as I'm tired. No, I'm not going to rant. I'm not going to rant. I might have just kicked the table, but I'm not going to rant. No, look, I'm hoping these reports are true. I really am hoping that these reports are true. It is about time. Look, this is where I am at on it. Is I would rather go full ball, 90 million, Chouamani. Oh my good lord. Chouamani, 300k a week, get it done. Just go and get it done, please, because we need that sort of player. What do you think about Lewandowski to Chicago Fire? I think that's about his level now. Chicago Fire wasn't that a TV show? I'm sure Chicago Fire was a TV show from like the 90s. It's a good move. It's a very, very lucrative move for him. So because I think, look, he can't go to Miami. Basically because I think if Lewandowski can't go to Miami because the way that the American clubs sign players is different to us. They've got to do some sort of financial compensation. So if they want to sign a player, they've got to do some weird financial compensation thing to the other team. So and they can't sign too many players. In terms of that either. So I think he's gone to Chicago Fire because Chicago Fire have got that gap. Portugal or Spain? I don't know. I think Portugal look like the better team. I think Portugal might do it, you know. I think Portugal might do it. Lewandowski has done his time in Europe. Time for him to get a payday in a lesser competitive league. Anyone seen a game called Planet Crafter? No, 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 no. I don't even know what that is. Planet Crafter. Portugal had the better half, but I feel Spain will win it in the end. The thing is with Spain, I think they're a little bit younger. I don't know though. I don't know. Portugal might just nick it, but if you're asking me who's got the better players, I think Spain have probably got the better players. I think just about. So let's see. Oh my god, I'm so tired. England, man. England, man, making people tired. They have designated players, North American, and teams have discovery. That's it. That's what it's called. Discovery rights. LA Galaxy had Casemiro's rights, basically called Shotgun, and Miami had to pay them. That's it. Switch. Yes, that's exactly. Yeah, it's the discovery rights. Switch is bang on it. Yes, Switch is bang on it. So guys, if this is your first time here, if you have discovered the channel, congratulations. You've got to the best channel on this platform, hands down. Look, do not forget to give the video a like. It helps push out the channel. It really, really does, and brings it out to a new audience. The more people that come into the channel, the more people that come into the chat, the sooner that I can quit my job and do this full time. Lumen, big up, my friend. I hope you're doing extremely well, buddy. Welcome to the chat, as you are, my friend. But look, get in there, get this content out there to the masses. Tell people how good the channel is. Tell people how good the community is. Get people into the chat, into the community. The more people that we have, the better. It just means that I can do more. It means I can commit more time to this as well. And of course, we all know, you know, that you want to see more of me. How's your old man Tony doing, John? Yeah, great, thanks, mate. Doing fantastically well, buddy. Fantastically well. No, look what we're saying. JB, we want you full time. You will get a lot of subscribers. Well, look, I would love to do this full time. Trust me, there are plenty of things that I've got planned inside my head. I just need time. I just need to be, look, I've got to work, right? As you guys know, I am not scared of hard work. And look, I would love to do this full time. So look, the way that I see it, I've got a graft. But trust me, the coming season, I will be doing the games. I'll be trying to do as much as I possibly can, as well. Look, I can't wait for this window to be done and dusted. This window is doing my head in. This is probably, JB, you need some help. Look, I do, and I can assure you, once I know what the plan is, Switch, because look, Switch is very, very good. So Switch, I promise you, buddy, I am going to need your help. So I'm just planning, mate. I've got merch to do. Switch, I've got merch to do. I want to do some more stuff with Rich. I want to do some more stuff with other people as well. I want to get people on. I do want to do a call-in show as well, but I will do a call-in show as well. So I'll look to do that as well. So look, there are things that I've got planned. I just need time. I just don't have the time. And as you guys know, like, I work full time as well. I've got quite an intense job. I've had a couple of easy weeks for personal reasons, but I'm back at it. So but no Switch. Look, the likes of Switch, the likes of Scott, the World Cup has taken a bit of shine away from the window, but us fans are following all the rumours that involve our respective clubs. Exactly. Look, the thing that bothers me. Look, I know that a man's got to eat, right? I don't mind, the sort of, like it's exciting, right? It is exciting. Oh, is that the okay? Switch. I've covered. Yes. Yes. Those. Yes. If that's the message, then yes. Then I have read the message. And I will go back to Switch. I will do. Close call for England, says Benja. Look, I thought England were the better team. The red card obviously didn't help. This thing is doing me head in. The red card didn't help. To be fair, but look, to go to the Azteca Stadium, ridiculous. JB, please never change and always care for the devoted and truthful fans. Look, again, that's what we do on this channel. I don't do clickbait. I don't hide behind the news. I'm not going to tell you stuff. I'm not going to tell you guys stuff and then hide behind news. If I tell you stuff that I've been told, I will. I will own it. If I get stuff wrong, I'll own it. I don't hide behind news. I don't use clickbait for news either. So that's the one thing that you get on this channel is you get the truth, and also you get impressions. I mean, my impressions on this channel are just I mean, second to none. Second to none. Harry Kane, the flop artist. Maybe. I can't be the only person that looks BBC Sports gossip page every day to see what's going on in the rumours. I don't believe BBC. I mean, I look at all sorts of stuff, mate. I look at the BBC. Again, as you guys know, I get told stuff as well. There's so much. There's so much stuff. I get sent things all the time. I get sent articles. I get sent all sorts of stuff. But yeah. But guys, look, this is the important stuff. You should be interested. You should want to read this stuff. Like you should. Your job and my job is to get excited about the transfers. You know, imagining these players playing for our club. This is the whole point, right? But we find ourselves trying to become accountants. Trump turned FIFA into a joke. He did. I apologize for Trump involving the US team. Trump is an idiot. Look, it's probably going to get me banned now, isn't it? I mean, how dodgy is that? What a dodgy load of nonsense. I mean, getting involved, it's ridiculous. Not even a scandal. It is cheating. Absolutely disgraceful to the culture by Trump. I'm sorry from America. Look, it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. The favoritism, how Infantino or whatever his name is can allow that to happen. There is no president, there is no governing body. Politics should not be involved, and he should just say he's banned, mate. I don't care, he's banned. But this is what I mean. Trump is a dictator. That is what he is. I'm sorry, but he is. Do you predict a team to win the World Cup? Did you predict the team to win the World Cup? Obviously, win it. I predicted Brazil. I said France. I've always said France. I think France is going to win it. I've always thought that. I just think France have got too much. I personally predicted France, but let's see. The world of football changes. Yes, it does. I will get back into that. Let me just start the match off again. Oh, they're banging on about the TV license. Jesus. Do not forget, you guys need a TV license. I have got my TV license. And if you are watching the football, then you do need a TV license. Do not forget that. The BBC gossip page. Sorry, the world of football changes so fast it's impossible. Exactly. BBC gossip page isn't from the BBC; it's other sites. Jamie Vargas, legend, is in the house. Hello, JB. How were the English last night? Went to the Azteca down 10 men, and said, "We got this." Portugal 2-1, says Jamie. Look, England. I thought were brilliant. I thought England were absolutely fantastic. You know, and again, I am ambivalent in this. I'm Welsh, so basically whatever I say is coming from a position of not being biased. Brilliant. I thought it was probably one of the best performances that England have had at a World Cup for quite some time. News Now is also a great place for rumours. I believe it has a page for every club, and the rumours are all in one place. According to FIFA's own rules, if there's a government intervention, the corresponding country should be disqualified. They should be disqualified. I'm sorry, but they should be disqualified. If the USA win the World Cup is fixed 100%. Argentina has a cakewalk to the finals. I've got a license to through, says Switch. Unfortunately, most girls, it's been revoked. Nobody applauds if the USA win. No, I mean, look, that's a fix, isn't it? I mean, yeah. The BBC is as corrupt as FIFA getting fees from people watching Netflix and the other streaming sites. They need to scrap. I mean, that is a big thing as well. Lumen says, JB, we can't separate politics from football, both at club and look. We've got to separate it out. Look, I know we can't. Look, I know we can't do it. We can't do it. But in terms of this channel, we will try to as much as we possibly can. Always remove the two. But you can't. You know, I know that. But look, guys, if you don't know, I have put it up on the channel as well. It's a really important if you want to watch this channel. If you want to watch other channels, so look, it's not just my channel. YouTube is directly impacted. There's a green paper basically being put out by the government to basically, the premise of it is what they want to do is because the BBC is failing, the BBC, you know, people are sick and tired of the BBC. People are just tired of the programming, and people are starting to vote with their fingers and basically not watch it. What they want to do is basically the government want to force you or want to force internet providers to show BBC. There's also, as well, by the way, there's also a new mandate and there's a new proposal on the table that basically you've got to pay for the BBC, whatever happens. So it's basically a tax. So they basically want to impose a new TV tax. So look, the whole realm of internet TV, the whole realm of Netflix, YouTube, Disney, whatever else, like the government are trying to basically control what you watch. So if you get a chance, then look at the community post. And you know, it's not just about this channel. So if you do have some other channels, then you know it could be a case of we start to disappear because the government basically wants to manipulate you. What was the better match, Argentina versus Cape Verde or England versus Mexico? Yeah, England. You know, and again, I'm a impartial viewer, and I think the England versus Mexico match was better. So look, this is Spain. Scott's right. Yamal so far has been pocketed. My younger days in the late 80s, 90s was BBC, Sky, and CNN. Oh, good ball. Yeah, look, I was born in 1983, and when I was a kid, the TV channels that I had were BBC, BBC Two, ITV, and the Welsh version of Channel 4. So yeah, we had 4 channels, and ITV used to turn off about 11 o'clock. The BBC used to turn off as well about 12, I think, as well. So yeah, back in my younger days, BBC, BBC One, BBC Two, ITV, and Welsh Channel 4, which was called S4C. S4C. Mine was MTV. Just for I loved. Was it a native Welsh speaking? Yes, it was. Yes, it was. It was. It was all of the. So basically, 90% of the programs on there were Welsh, and I remember on a Saturday morning. I remember on a Sunday morning watching Serie A games in Welsh. I can't speak Welsh. Lamal, um, the girl with the chalkboard and balloon thing. Yeah, that was on BBC, wasn't it? Yeah, that was the girl with the little board and the weird doll thing in green, wasn't it? S Club 7, bloody hell, that's a blast from the past. BBC used to have a spinning globe when it ended. Yeah, yeah, it did. Yeah, it did. S Club 7, blimey. Well, Switch. You've got to reach for the stars. Um, I think that that Carrick has to reach for the stars, and I think he's got to climb every single mountain high up, and then he's got to reach for the stars. And Switch, as we know, when the rainbow is shining, it's gonna make your dreams come true. So, you know, um, not that I know this song at all. This is Portugal now. Go on, Ronnie. Sky says, I need sleep. Yes, Sky. Go on, Sky. You do need a sleep. There's nothing worse than being tired. There's nothing worse than being tired. The good old days of telly. Oh, just for the laugh. Teletext. I used to love a bit of teletext. I used to love teletext. Mate, I know all the words to that song, mate. I've been Scott. I've been known to sing along to S Club 7. I've been known to sing along to Steps, the Venga Boys. I'm not scared. I'll quite happily sing along to S Club 7, Steps, Venga Boys. Village People. I'm not bothered. Dallo looks like he could be coming on at some point as well. I listened to S Club 7. Oh, you can't beat a little bit of S Club 7. I mean, I've got well, that went a bit weird. Feeling it now, are we, Sky? Thoughts on Amarin calling AC Milan a bigger club than United? Well, look, Switch. What's my opinion on Amarin saying that AC Milan are a bigger club than us? Sweet like chocolate boy. I'm blue dabba-dee badda-dow, dabba-dee dabba-dow, dabba-dee badda-dow. I'm blue. I've got a blue house with a blue window, Sweet like chocolate boy. Oh, great song. Great song. Look, Amarin, what are my thoughts on Amarin? I've got nothing to really say. Look, I don't blame him for being angry. Look, the thing I'm going to say on him is this. Look, it didn't work. It failed. Did I just have a stroke? No, it was my camera. It just decided to be weird. It was weird. Look, I will personally. Oh, Mambo number 5. Hell yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. So look, Amarin, I'll let Amarin get away with it for now because look, Amarin has taken enough stick off of this fan base. I don't blame him. But there's only a certain amount of times I personally will let him get away with it. If he keeps on saying it, well then, then we're gonna have a problem. But I don't mind him saying it. Look, he's got a new job. He was treated like crap. I don't really know what he's supposed to do. I don't blame him. I don't blame him. It's not true though. I mean, AC Milan are not bigger than us right now. So, um, Mambo number 5, yeah. Macarena. Saturday night. If anybody wants to listen to a song, Wigfield. Saturday night. Absolutely quality song. I have a blue house with a blue window. It's a great song. Great song. Getting the old brain matter working and unlock it. Yeah. John, you used to sing Wigfield to the. Oh, yeah. Oh, it's a great song. Thank you, baby. See, look, it's still there. The old moves are still there. Like, I'm just saying. The old moves are still there. Just, they are. Loved it. It was a great time. It was a great time to be alive. Great time. Anyway, Spain. Spain and Portugal. Look, they're having a tactical masterclass. Come on. Here we go. What are those teams doing? One wants to score, it seems. Exactly. Big fish. Oh, look at that. John, you're on alone now. Doesn't seem. I'm not, and it's true. It is true. There doesn't seem to be anyone around. Tiffany, go on, Cristiano. Unlucky. Well, the beating of my heart is the only sound. JB busting out the disco ball. Oh, I've got 3 girls. All right, I've got 3 girls. I've got a wife who loves all that sort of stuff. I mean, I know Grease. I know Hairspray. I've seen pretty much most things. K-pop, Demon Hunters, Frozen 1 and 2. I can probably sing all of those. Descendants 1, 2, 3, 4. Swift. You know, I'm I can do it. Cucurella for 50 has to be extortion. Why did Chelsea have on Perez Switch? Didn't S Club 7 have a mini group? Yes. I can't remember what they were called. What were they called? S Club Juniors. Was it? I don't know. Flares out. Oh, hell yeah. I've seen Saturday Night Fever, all sorts of stuff. I saw The Lion King in the West End. Apparently that's really good. Really good. I would love to go and see that. Defo Northern. Oh yeah, that'd be. I'd love all that. That'd be fantastic. That'd be brilliant. Yeah, I'm a man of music. I don't remember what they were called, but yeah, I was too old for that as well. I think it was S Club Juniors. Yeah, I would have been far too old for that. I would have been in my 20s, and they were like little tweenies. So yeah. It was class. The Lion King was that shot was too close. Look, I do really want to see that. It does look good. It does look good. Lamar, JB stands for Juicy Beat. Oh yeah, I love that. I just love songs. S Club Juniors, and then it changed to S Club 8, I think. Well, that was inspiring, wasn't it? Yeah, I just love music. I do. I really do. In our house, anything goes pretty much in our house. But I do my secret um artist that I love is Tina Turner. You gotta love a little bit Tina Turner. She's just amazing. When is the music channel gonna drop? I mean, I haven't got time for this one half the time. I I just love music. Some of those girls grew up and formed a band called The Saturdays, says Sky. I don't know. Do I know The Saturdays? Yes, I do. I do. Not. I don't know them personally, but I do know. They did a song with Flow Rider. There you go. JB was in the Beastie Boys back in the day. I was the one with the chain. I was. Do you remember Five Star? Um, I was young, but I do remember Five Star. Yes, I was very young. I don't remember them like coming out, but I remember them around the time. Yeah, I do. They all looked like the Jacksons. It was really weird. Uh, they all basically looked like the Jacksons. Sorry, they looked like the Jacksons after the nose job. It was really bizarre. Um, do you remember? Yeah, I do. Wayne Bridges' wife was in the Saturdays. Oh yeah, Frankie. Frankie, that's it. Frankie. JB directed Eight Mile. You know what? Eminem, love Eminem, absolute quality. I remember I think I was 15 when Eminem come out. Eminem for me was the soundtrack. Was probably I've just seen that switch. John Terry. I don't think he was he? I don't think he was. I think I know. Yeah, it was his first wife, wasn't it? It wasn't her. It was the first wife. Do you remember me? Ah, Frankie. Oh hell yeah, yeah. Great song. Great song. Frankie was that Sunita? Was that someone else? Um, who sang who sang Frankie? Was that Sunita? I don't know. Who remembers Sonia? Not from EastEnders. Um, Sonia, the Liverpudlian, brilliant, fantastic singer. Who was Frankie? Who sang Frankie? I'd have to look it up. Portugal, the better team, good save. Yes, it was. Portugal are looking like they want to win this thing. Yeah, the Liverpool ginger little chubby lass. She was good, her. Um, Scott says I'm not even watching the football. Frankie Boyle. He was funny. No, it was a song called Frankie. JB was in. Oh, Scott, I love The Sound of Music. I used to watch The Sound of Music. Right, The Sound of Music for me. I used to always watch it. New Year's Day, it always used to come on the first day of the year. What was it? Sister Sledge was it? Um, The Sound of Music. I love that film. I know every song in that. I know. Oh bloody hell! um, um, Jesus. I'm not even acknowledging that. Um, no. Here we go. Well, well. John's still in the closet. Look, just because I like the sound of music, um, just because I like the sound of music, um, but again, hilarious. I've got to be careful about the things that I say in here, or I'm going to get banned. Um, he's cleaning out his closet. Eminem, fantastic song, fantastic song. Look, if you have just joined and you're into this chat with these reprobates on this channel, an absolute best community on this platform, hands down. The Hills Are Alive with the sound. Oh, great song. How do you solve a problem? As all sorts. I know that film inside and out. JB Signs, I Want to Break Free on Saturdays when he JB Signs, I want to break free on Sundays when he's cleaning. Oh, look, if you ever saw me in a skirt, you wouldn't be able to contain yourself. That's all I'm saying. You wouldn't be able to contain yourselves. You'd see me in a skirt, and that'd be it. You guys, you'd be turned for life. So, Doe deer, a female deer. Ray, a drop of golden sun. Me, a name I call myself. Far, a long, long way to run. So, a needle pulling thread. La, a note to follow. So, me, no tea, a drink with jam and bread. That will bring us back to dough. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Blast dancing in the street. Oh yeah. Just it's just the kilt. No skirt. No skirt contains me, Scott. No skirt contains me. I am not bound. I'm not bound by conformities. I'm not bound by clothing. I will not be bound. Well, depends really, doesn't it? But no, under normal circumstances, I won't be bound, and I won't be gagged. Right, 70 minutes gone. Spain 0, Portugal 0. Portugal are looking like the better team here. JB, no, I don't tuck. I don't tuck anything. I don't tuck a shirt in. Bex influenced the skirt wearing days. Oh, I never wore a sarong. When David Beckham wore that sarongs skirt thing, there are levels. There are levels that I just will not go down to. And look, there are some men in a skirt that look fantastic. The Scots look fantastic. They look great in a skirt. Yeah, yeah. That's why he's called the Trenchman. Exactly. There's a kid in the crowd doing the sprinkler. It was so right. Oh my god! It was just. I remember going into Burton's or Top Man, and they were selling sarongs. Yeah, I mean, I've had some fashion faux pas and some fashion mistakes, but there are levels. There are levels to this game. So look, so Dallow's coming on, Liao's coming on as well. So look, they're gonna try and get a little bit of width in there. JB Styles, mate. I was never stylish, never stylish. Hello, Anna. Hello. I hope you're doing extremely well. I was never stylish. I'm not even going to pretend. I'm not even going to pretend that I was stylish. I used to think I was back in the day. I had the red streak in my hair. Did you ever do the dreads that Bex? No, never. I did back in the day though. I did used to have the my god. I did used to have really long curtains. I did have the Backstreet Boys, the curtains, the really greasy curtains back in the day. I used to I just used to love the curtains. I must have looked like I just got grease and just put it all on my head. When will Edison sign for the club? So look, Edison, I was slightly emo. I was kind of emo-ish. Wasn't too emo, but I was more like rock. I was into that sort of whole like rock, um, like kind of Linkin Park type of stuff. Um, Edison's going to sign probably within the next week or so. I think look, these the reports saying that Edison is not going to sign. It's just a load of trash. He is going to sign. What's been holding it up is United need to do the medical part as well. Never had curtains for a haircut. It was common. Yeah, I had long curtains. Curtains was common as jupe. Oh, good old jupe. Um, I never had jupe. I had Hugo Boss, but it was the screw top one. So it was like the screw top Hugo Boss with the canvas like link thing. And links as well. Links Africa, links Inca. Yeah, links was the brand. Links was the smell of the school was links. Just boys who smelled bo and links. Um, did do your girls get embarrassed by what you wear, or are you a cool dad? Look, I tend to just try to look my I don't try to wear anything too mad. I basically would just wear like a t-shirt or a shirt, jeans. I try and still stay balanced. They get more embarrassed about the trainers than anything else. That is the one thing they get embarrassed about are the trainers. I've got many trainers. Um, yeah, they get embarrassed about those. But yeah, I just wear like a t-shirt. Um, yeah. Um, if anything, they probably think I'm really boring. Um, to be fair, I used to have Jupe, had it everywhere. Are United interested in Santos? Yes, they are. At the moment, they are interested in Santos. They are talking to Chelsea. They are talking to Chelsea. They are talking to Chelsea. They like the player. Vivell likes the player. They were speaking to him. They've been speaking to him since last season as well. So there is an interest there. It could be Chouameni and Santos. So I can envision a situation where it is Chouameni and Santos. Um, like the dude from this country, yes. I have I have curtains now. UT my hair in 5 months trying to grow it out. You can't beat curtains. You can't beat curtains. I love curtains back in the day. Like the dude from this country. Oh no, it wasn't that bad. Oh no, no, it was more like they weren't like uniform curtains. They were like more like they weren't curtains that made me look like an idiot. Well, I did, but it was more like I'm trying to describe it. If anybody used to watch Neighbours back in the day, there was someone on there called Drew, and he sort of had these. It was like they weren't curtains, but it was just like curtainy, sort of long kind of hair that was quite straight. Yeah, it wasn't like that weird. Yeah, it was sort of yeah, yeah. They were just brilliant. I just used to think that I just used to look fantastic when I didn't. And my hairline used to be down here somewhere. My curtains were like that. Oh, it's brilliant. I used to look like a right legend. in no way, shape, or form. Is it because all of your grain trainers are bright green? Um, that's a fair point. Not all of them are bright green. I mean, to be fair, a lot of them are. As you can see up there, I've got some underneath the desk that are as well. No, because they just, those trainers that are out now. So um, you've got those 90s looking trainers, the ones that used to look a bit weird. So those that style's come back now, and they've all got those type of 90s trainers, and I just wear whatever trainers get sent to me. So I get sent a lot of trainers because I've got another channel and people send me stuff, right? So a lot of the trainers that I get, um, they get sent to me, and also when I buy the trainers that I do buy, um, most of the type of brands that I buy, their trainers are funny colors, so I end up buying or having really really funny color trainers. So Scott says, I'm not even here to watch the match. Petition to call a fringe cut blind. Oh my god, it's done it again. It's done it again. I don't even know what is wrong with this. This camera. This camera's been weird today. John runs. It's been called many things. It used to be called Techno Runner. It's a technology. Well, it's pretty much just a technology channel now. So I do have another video, by the way. So I've got another video coming out on the channel. I'll give you an exclusive. I'll give you an exclusive on this channel. I'll give you an exclusive on the channel. So I've got another video coming out. In fact, I've got a couple of videos coming out. So one of the reasons why I've not been or been doing less videos on this channel is because I've had to do some work on that channel, and I've got a video coming out. I've got a new video coming out on that channel, and it's this. I'm not going to tell you the brand name because I've got to save it for the channel, but it's a microphone. It's really cool actually. I've got other things. I've got a couple of bits and pieces. So it's a technology channel as well. So yeah. I've been busy. But look, yeah, that was a fantastic block there as well. So the new stylish trainers are embarrassing to your girls because you're too old to wear them. I think it's just. I'll show you a pair of trainers, right? To be fair, they do look a bit weird, but I don't care. There you go. Fantastic trainers. The trainers are embarrassing. Well, yeah, they are. Yeah, they are Nike. Yes. No, just because they look crap. I just think that they look. I still run. I still race. I still compete. So the trainers that I buy are basically for me to train in. So I do run. I don't just buy them for a laugh. I do run. I do train. I do compete. So yeah, they look a bit funny to some people. Those look like Jamaica. Yeah, these are a basically these are a. I think they're supposed to be like a Chinese sort of collaboration. So these are a collaboration. and they're supposed to represent someone. I can't remember. I can't remember what their collaboration was, but it was something with Nike and somebody else. But they are very, very, very good trainer. I do both. I do both. I don't really. I'm not too competitive in like the 5 or 10Ks. I do run them every day, pretty much. But I'm more so do ultra marathons at the moment. I am training for a half marathon. I'm going to train for a half marathon. I've done lots and lots of marathons. I've done 5Ks, 10Ks. COVID runners 3000, says Scott. Get you a man who can do both. Wasn't they banned for competition? They look very similar to him. No, there's not many trainers that are banned. I'll tell you the ones that are banned though. I'll tell you the ones that are banned. The ones that are banned, and I'm going to try not to stand up because I'm in my shorts, and I don't want you guys to be like look, just don't be looking at my butt, okay? Are these ones and these ones, and these are banned. These ones are banned. These ones are banned because basically it's all to do with the stack height. These ones are banned. Yeah, those ones are banned. Those ones are not. Fernandez and Dallo on, says Leo. Yes, they are. Look, can they inspire Portugal to a win? A win. What was the trainers that they banned with the 6-inch thick sole used to cut marathon stuff? I mean, it's more so about the stack height. I think the World Athletics stack height is about, I think it's 42 centimeters. Look, you can't handle my cheeks. Nobody can handle my cheeks, mate. Look, I've got some tight buns. I'm just saying. Watch Ronaldo score in the last minute. Look, I really, really hope he does. A huge water bottle on the straw. The way the game's going, it looks like it's penalties. Yeah. I don't run with a phone on my arm. No, I use my watch. I can basically listen to songs on this as well, so I don't need a phone or anything. I just use the watch. The watch is fantastic. JB's biggest gluten. Look, no. Anyway, Portugal, Spain. What a game! What a game! This is the game for the ages. Turn this one a little bit. Dallo, come on, Dallo. Do you listen to your own song? No, I don't. No, I don't listen to my own song. Nah. I mean, it's not. I mean, it's not really my taste, to be fair. No. The only time I was like Haaland, I will like Haaland is when he puts England. The only time that I will like Haaland is when he puts England out, says Leo. I don't think you put England out, to be fair. I think England will beat Norway. Fayaz is in the house. No, I don't listen to my own song. Yeah, no, I don't. Is Costa, the goalkeeper, still going to Madrid? What happened to that deal? I don't know, because I know Amorim wanted him, didn't he? And then kind of that sort of went flat, didn't it? So I don't know. I've not heard anything in regards to that. What is your predictions for Norway versus England on Saturday? I think it's going to be a close game. I do think Haaland will score. I think England overall, I think, are going to have a bit too much for Norway. I think England will win. I think it's going to be a very, very, very close game. I think it's going to be a very, very close game. I think it could be penalties. It's going to be 1-1, 2-1, 1-1, 2-1. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Spain look dead when against a tough team. I don't know what. Yeah, Spain are just surprising though. Portugal are looking very good. France would smash them all day long. Yeah, yeah, agreed, agreed. I think I think France I think France are going to smash anyone. France have been my favourite throughout the whole tournament. To be fair, looks like the deal got called off. Lunin started to play well in Courtois absence, so Real never bought him. This will be a sad World Cup. Messi, Ronaldo, Casemiro, Neymar last World Cup. Yeah, I think Cristiano wants another World Cup, doesn't he? But yeah, I think you're right. I think could you see Messi at another World Cup? How old's Messi? 38, 39? Um, yeah, I think Leo. I think you're right. I think definitely Casemiro is not going to be at another World Cup. Um, I should imagine. I should imagine Cristiano will be 45. Yeah. Um, Messi. Yeah, I think you're right, Leo. I do. I think if Messi was 37, um, he wants to play with his son in the next World Cup. I mean, Cristiano. I mean, don't get me wrong. He's actually got better in this tournament. I can't see him. I can't see him going for another 4 years. Um, yeah, yeah, yeah. He's 41 years old. I mean, yeah. Messi will do the next Copa, but won't reach the World Cup. It is Spain. Goal, Spain. Wow. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Easy. Too easy. Too easy. Too easy. Out of nothing. Out of nothing. Crazy. Crazy. European champs versus the Nation League champs was always going to be a top game. So switch. Yeah, it's just quick. I mean, that seems to just come out of nothing. Sadello never tracked his winner. Ronaldo announced it last night. It's his last. Um, yeah, I do think Portugal have been the better side tonight, but Can Cristiano step up if this is it, as Leo says there? If this is going to be his last World Cup, the last 4 minutes, 4 minutes to save his World Cup place. 4 minutes to save Cristiano's World Cup. Wow. He's back with Spain. That's a great tackle, by the way. Why do you think Stiller news has gone so quiet? Not even. Um. Again, as I said the other day, right? There is something weird going on with Stiller. I don't know what it is. I just keep being told, watch out for Stiller, watch out for Stiller, and I've been told this now for 2 weeks. There's something weird going on. There is something weird. I don't think that United are going to go in for him. I don't know what it is. There's something strange with Stiller. I can see Stiller ending up at Juventus. I could see him ending up in a club like that. I don't think Madrid are still linked to him. I don't know if he goes to Madrid. I don't necessarily think he'll go to Bayern. I can see him. I can see him ending up at a team that you go, oh, okay. I could see him ending up at like a Juventus. I could see him ending up at an AC Milan even. Is there a release clause? So look, Stiller's release clause, yes. So Stiller's clause in his contract can be bought out by Stuttgart at any point. So if, for example, at the moment, I think his release clause is 35 million euros, I think. But Stuttgart can buy it out for 3.5 million euros at any time. And there's nothing Stiller can do. So if Stuttgart decide tomorrow to buy out the clause, there's nothing like they can do. So I don't think there's an end date on the clause. But it's they're basically waiting for Stuttgart to pay out the clause, basically. So a minute and a bit, a minute and a half for Portugal to stay in this World Cup. Not great. I thought Atleti were going to go for Stiller after dropping Gomez. And this is what I mean. I can see him ending up at somewhere like an Atleti, somewhere like a Juventus, somewhere like a that sort of club. I think that it was said that he was going to end up at a Bayern Munich, end up at a Bayern, end up at a Madrid. But I think Mickey's right. I think it could be an Atleti. I think it could be a Juventus. It could be a Napoli, AC Milan. Yeah. Wow. Spain are basically through. Ronaldo's last World Cup. Yeah. It's a shame. That was the chance. That was the chance. Ruben AC Milan. Yep. Yep. Oof. Oof. Unlucky. Wasting some time, of course. This is back with Portugal. Just one more attack. Spain or Belgium or America? I think the USA will beat Belgium. I think they're gonna have heavily favoured. Um, I do think that the USA are probably gonna get reasonably far. I think that there is definitely a bias. Sorry to say it. I think there's going to be a bias. Well, look, that's it. Cristiano's last World Cup. Cristiano's out. Portugal are out. Portugal out. And look, that is the end. Look, that is Cristiano's last World Cup. Spain are through in a very unconvincing way. Look, Cristiano, the legend, the man, the myth, the legend that is Cristiano. Look, an absolute legend at this club and our football icon, a legend. And look, this was his last World Cup. So look, he is done. He's out. And again, I think Portugal, for me, very, very disappointing. I think Bruno Fernandes has had a very, very disappointing World Cup. And again, doesn't mean that Bruno Fernandes is a bad player. I just think Portugal, I think, have had just a meh. I just think they've just had a nothing World Cup. It's good job people wasn't tuning in for the score, John. It's 0-0. It was 0-0. And look, he's out. Cristiano Ronaldo, look, legend of this club, legend of football. He's done and dusted. Look, he wasn't going to win the World Cup. I know many people wanted Portugal to win the World Cup. I know many people thought that Portugal were going to win the World Cup. Should they have got further on? I think Portugal have been very, very disappointing in this World Cup. I think they've been average. Look, but again, Spain are a good team. You know, Spain can make something out of nothing. But look, you've got US v Belgium tonight. I don't even know what time it is. Is that a 1 o'clock game tonight? Did Roberto waste his Portugal team? Yes. I just don't think he's a very good coach. Yamal, look, I think Yamal is it's difficult to say. It's difficult to say. I think he's been injured. This season. I don't think he's fit. I don't think he's fully fit, to be fair to him. I don't think he's fully fit for this game. So I think it's difficult to tell. But you know, look, if you look at Roberto Martinez, he wasted Belgium's best players. He's wasted Portugal's players as well. So I think it's the coach. I don't rate him as coach. I don't think he's great. Look, he won an FA Cup with Wigan Athletic, and apparently that means he's good enough to manage a country. So so Portugal are out. A bit of a nothing game, really. USA tonight. They are going to be playing Belgium tonight. So let's see what goes through there. I won't be doing that game tonight. I've got work in the morning. So again, I can't sadly stay up for the game tonight to watch the game. But look, let's see what happens tonight. Jose was supposed to take over after the World Cup, but Madrid decided to sign him instead. Ronaldo looks devastated, and I'm not surprised. I think when it sort of comes to end of eras, you're bound to be sad. I think Yamal is overhyped, and he's still a teenager. Played a lot of games in this season, coming back from an injury before the World Cup started, so we'll be having fitness problems. Yeah. Cristiano is the only player to score in 6 separate World Cups. He has the record, and again, and that's it, isn't it? You know, he's been such a phenomenal player, and like, I think it's probably right. I think it's probably right that I think towards the end of this now, before I go, is that we do take time and we do talk about Cristiano. This is his last World Cup, and look, he's not going to play again. We're not going to see him kick another World Cup ball. He's been at 6 World Cups. That's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. What a phenomenal athlete. What a phenomenal player to score in 6 World Cups is ridiculous. So, I've loved watching Cristiano play. I think he's been ordinary in this World Cup. He still scored, but again, 41 years old, still playing at a World Cup. I think there are not many people at 41 years old who are not going to be able, who will never achieve that level. So I think he has to be admired for that. I think he has to be praised. And look, Portugal, look, they've had an ordinary World Cup. I don't think any of their stars played well. I don't know if that's because of the coach or whether or not it's just the players and it's probably not the right fit. But Cristiano, it would have been nice for him to have scored today, but it just wasn't. It wasn't meant to be. Scott says I can see him playing in the next one. It would be 45. I don't think so, Scott. I just can't. I can't see it. I can't see it, mate. I can't see it. I think he'll be retired completely by 45. I just can't see it. I think he'll be. I think. Look, I wouldn't put it past him, Scott. I wouldn't put it past him for Cristiano to be at a World Cup at 45 years old. But I just don't see it. Kevin says Portugal got eliminated. Yes, they did. Look, it was a good technical match, but it wasn't great. Bad luck to Portugal. Fantastic side, great players. Vitinha, Leao, Cristiano, Bruno Fernandes. Fantastic players, but sadly, please don't retire. I think Cristiano will still play football. I just don't think he's going to. I just don't think international wise. I think he's going to retire. And I think it's right. He's 41 years old. Look, he's going to retire. I think within the next year or two. 41 years old, right? Fantastic player. And as Scott says there, I don't think he's going to retire. I think he wants his 1,000 goals. Don't they have to have 28 days off or something before they can actually join up for the pre-season? I don't know. I don't know what the stipulation is. I don't know what the rules are, but he's going to need the time off. I guarantee you that he's going to need the time off. These players are. Also, as well, Bruno Fernandes. As well, look, he seems to have come away from the World Cup unscathed. He looks tired. It's a very long season. Ronaldo will join Scunthorpe to get his next 50 goals. 4 years is a very long time in a professional athlete's career. Cherish what he has already given and don't be greedy. Mickey, I think that's brilliant. Mickey, I think that's a brilliant thing to say, Mickey. I couldn't agree more. I think that is Mickey. I think that's a fantastic thing to say. Look, these players of ours, and again, I think it's important at the back end of the show is to talk about it because Cristiano is a legend, right? He is a legend of this club, and he is a legend of Real Madrid. Portuguese legend, fantastic player, right? And Mickey's right. I think what Mickey said there, I think, is absolutely 100% true. These players that we see, we're very, very lucky in terms of football. It's a sport that we love. And look, you don't want to see these guys go on and basically, end up, you know, as I said there, like I don't want to see Cristiano ending up in, I don't know, La Liga 3, trying to scratch around goals, right? I think, as Switch says there, I think once he gets to 1,000 goals, and again, he's still capable. I think he's still a very, very capable player. I think he'll retire, and so he should. I think, and so he should, and I think he's earned it. I think he's been a wonderful player to watch. I think he's been one of the greatest ever players to watch. Commitment, hard work, tenacity. He's driven. I mean, just of all the players, I know he's shown that with sheer hard work and a gift, but with sheer hard work, you can achieve anything. So I think he's had a wonderful career. The guy's played at 6 World Cups and scored goals at each World Cup. You know, and he's in the top 6 scorers of all time. I mean, what more can he do? And for him, he's disappointed because he truly believes that he could win a World Cup. Like that is the level that he operates at as well. So I think it's been a fantastic career in terms of the international career for him, and I think he deserves it. I think he should retire from Portugal. Look, they've done things with him that I don't even think that they thought was possible. Um, Paul Swansea Villa legend says, "Good evening, all. What an unbelievable night last night. I'm starting to slowly believe that we could do it." And again, look, big up to England as well. By the way, look, what an absolute fantastic performance. Again, I'm Welsh, so what I say is from a non. I'm not a biased person. So, and I will happily tell you that England are crap. What England did last night was phenomenal. I think as an achievement to go to the Azteca, to go through what you went through against that team. Everything was backed against England last night, from the Storms, from the team, from Mexico playing in the Azteca Stadium. Everything pointed to an England loss. What a phenomenal game! What they showed. I think they're growing. I think they are growing into the tournament. And for once, we all stayed up and we got a match. We stayed up and England performed as I think they probably should perform. But it is still a difficult place to go. So phenomenal performance. I think England, even if they were to go out, I think that they have done themselves really proud. I do. I think they've got, but if England don't get to the semi-finals, I think they'll be gutted. I think this is a very, very good year. Other than France, I think France is the only team that can put England to the sword. I think Argentina are beatable. Norway are beatable. Like Haaland, you can keep him quiet, and I know he can still score a goal. But if I was England now, I wouldn't fear. Anybody. Look, Argentina, they are not the side they were. They're not. They really are not. If I was England, I wouldn't fear anybody. other than France. I think France are the only team that I think can really put England to the sword. Anybody else, I think, is very, very close. I think is very, very close. So I think, uh, can it be an England Argentina final? I thought it can only be an England. I don't know that side of the draw. Um, but look, I think the only team that if I was England that I would fear would be France. Other than that, I think it's a very, very close between all of the teams that are left. So I think if I'm an England fan tonight, I think I'm happy. You've got to be happy tonight. I think fantastic. And look, long may it continue. So look, who knows what's going to happen? Look, Norway are there to be beaten. They really, really are. We're on the same side. It can't be England. That's what I thought. That's what I thought. Um, yeah, I thought semi-final. So I thought England, if they get through Norway, and if America win, then it's Argentina, America, or Belgium, and then England and Norway. I mean, look, England I've got to get to a semi-final. Come on, come on, come on. I mean, look, they've got to. Alex says, evening all, good game last night and an awesome win. Look, it was just fantastic. What and this is what I've got to say. I've got to say this. I've got to praise England fans this year, and the reason why I praise you lot, the reason why I'm going to praise England fans this year, is because you haven't had all this "is coming home" crap. I haven't had all this stuff. I think this is the first year in a long time where I think England fans have been very, not pessimistic, but I think you've been realistic. I think any of that old England, England are the best team in the entire world. Have all come from ex-players, and I'm not saying that that's a bad thing, by the way. I think it's all come from ex-players, and I think what's really, really impressed me this year about England fans, I think you guys have just enjoyed it. I think you've just enjoyed the World Cup. I think you've just I think you've. I honestly, I think England fans this year, I think, have been fantastic. I think they've been great. I think they've been realistic. I think England have grown into the tournament. England remind me of when teams that win the World Cup, when they grow into it, and England are growing into this World Cup. It's weird that a Welshman is rooting for England. Now, look, Alex, I'm Welsh, but look, I live in England. I've lived in England for a very, very, very long time. Look, if England win a World Cup, am I going to be happy? Well, you know, look, I look, my kids are English, my wife's English. So look, I think it's only right. I think it's only right. And look, I want England to win a World Cup. I think it'd be fantastic for the country. I think it'd be fantastic for the club. I think it'd be fantastic for the Premier League. Imagine everybody happy. Imagine United fans happy because England have won a World Cup. It's brilliant. It's brilliant. Jacob says hi. Hello, Jacob. Hope you're doing extremely well. So look, again, look, I do support all of the home teams. Am I going to celebrate an England if they win the World Cup? Look, I can't celebrate it like you guys can do because it is your team, but I will be happy. I will be more than happy. I was going to say if England win a World Cup, I'll wear an England shirt, but I'm not going to do that because I'll be disowned. So I can't do that. Imagine if Harry Kane didn't make it on the national team, says Alex. On our day is such a silly saying. When is it ever our day? I'm going to love it when Norway beat England. No. Look, Norway going to beat England. I don't think they will. I don't think they will. Just not this year. You guys can win it next year when both Ronaldo and Messi are gone, says Alex. Unfortunately, I wouldn't be happy because I'm not English, says Alex. Natasha, did Gobers tell you to say that? Club or country? Look, for me, I don't think it's a choice. I don't think you should have to choose. I think that you can have both. You know, why should you have to choose? I think that you can have both. I do. I don't think that you should be made to choose. I think that you can have both. So I don't think I could handle that much excitement and happiness by willing to try. Come on, England, says Mickey. Look, it will be brilliant. Look, it will be fantastic. I hope England win the World Cup. I really do. I think it'll be absolutely brilliant. Look how look how can people not want to how can people not want the country that they're in? I mean, I might be Welsh, but this is the you know we're England, Welsh, Scotland. We're all part of the same. We're all part of the same country. Who's your favourite Welsh player, JB? My favourite Welsh player of all time is Mark Hughes. Sparky is my favourite player, closely followed by Giggsy, Sparky, Giggsy, Ian Rush. So it goes Sparky, Giggsy, Ian Rush, Gary Speed. I used to love Speed as well. Gareth Bale as well. So Neville Southall. So Southall in goal was a fantastic player. Yeah. So for me, it would have to probably go Sparky, Giggsy, Ian Rush, Gary Speed, Gareth Bale, and Never Southall. Fantastic players. France to win, yeah, I agree with you. I think France will probably win the World Cup. Moss says hi, hello Moss. Do you think any of the Arsenal players should win the PFA Player of the Year? Look, it's a difficult thing to say, right? Not Craig Bellamy, no. A fantastic player, but a little shitbag. Do I think any Arsenal players? Arsenal, yeah, Arsenal should. Arsenal. I mean, it's difficult to say, right? Should they have done it? Maybe, but they didn't. So I don't care. Southall is one of the best keepers that Britain ever produced. Never Southall was what a player. I mean, what an absolute legend. The guy looked Welsh. I mean, the guy looked Welsh. I mean, Southall for me, what a goalkeeper. Phenomenal goalkeeper. Fantastic. What's going on with Somerville? Look, Somerville, I'll give you a quick one on that one. So Somerville has got a release clause in his contract for 40 million, but you've got to pay that up front. That is one of the rare occasions whereby you can buy Somerville for 40 million pounds, but you've got to pay it all up front. If not, it's going to be at 55 million. Are we going to do the deal? Not while Marcus Rashford is still here. Unless we sell Marcus Rashford, or we're confident to sell a Marcus Rashford, then there's no chance of the deal. I'm England living in Swansea. Lots of anti-England feeling here. But in Birmingham, we followed Wales and Ireland. I draw the line at Scotland. And look, Paul, Swansea Villa, I am from Swansea. I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get it. I just don't get the hate. I don't get it. Rooney wasn't Welsh. Rooney wasn't Welsh. Robbie Savage. I like Robbie Savage. Not a legend for me, but I like Robbie Savage. I do. Vinnie Jones cracks me up. Vinnie Jones. I mean, Vinnie Jones is about as English, as Welsh as pie and mash. But again, Vinnie Jones, good player. I'd going in on to Amani, possibly. Possibly. I believe it when I see it. I do. I believe it when I see it. Um, are we? Look, the reports are, and look, as soon as I know, and as soon as I think, oh, Dean Saunders. I forgot about Dean Saunders. How can I forget about Dean Saunders? What a player. Aston Villa. Um, I mean, look, what an absolutely fantastic player, Saunders. Liverpool as well, I think. Dean Saunders, amazing player, fantastic player. Um, do I think that we're going to go all in? Look, we will see. We will see. Um, look, there are reports now coming left, right, and centre. Let's see. Let's see what happens. He is my nan used to know Dean Saunders' mum. I've back in the day, I can't remember where they are, but I've got loads of stuff that's been signed. Um, Natasha, I'll come on to that in a second. Yeah, Dean Saunders was fantastic. Look, Natasha, it's not done. Look, Natasha, to remain. Look, as we keep telling you on this channel, right? We keep telling you on this channel, okay? Those channels who are telling you, look, Chew and Maney, according to channels, has been done for weeks, has been done for months and months and months and months. We've told you on this channel, we've told you every single step of what is going on. The noises at the moment are United are looking to do something around this deal. Now, look, this could be spin. Until there is anything more official out there, this is spin to me, because what you've got to remember, and guys, do not forget to give the video a like as well. What you've got to remember is what we do is spin. I've never said that we're not going to go for him. What I've always said is this: the deal has not been done. The deal has never been done. These talks of secret meetings are total crap. Are United going to do something now because they're forced to? Possibility. Possibility two is spin. Look, we have missed out on so many targets. Is this spin? Is this spin before they go and do Sander Berge? Is this spin before they go and do another deal? This is either spin or panic. It could be one of the two. Do I think that we're going to go and try to get Chew and Maney? My answer to that would be I think that we're probably going to panic and go to look at this deal. There are lots and lots of loopholes to jump through. So anybody saying right now that this deal is done, they're talking nonsense. They're talking. I can give you countless examples from countless channels, right? Particularly the big channels, about how Tonali was signed. You know, I'm not going to name names, but there is a channel, a football terrace, where Terry basically put out there that Tonali signed. If you go back, and I'm going to use him as an example, if you go back, there was a video that he put out basically saying how we're going to sign Tonali and how we signed Tonali. He's at Spurs. And again, people get things wrong. And again, things move fast, right? I've told you things on here. I've told you everything up until the deal, and then it changes, right? I'm not saying that. But anybody saying tonight that Chew and Maney is a done deal is guessing. Okay? It is a guess, because we're not talking to Madrid yet. We're not talking to them yet. We might be talking to them tomorrow, but as of tonight, we're not talking to Madrid. We know the price. Madrid want 100, which is about 85 in pounds. Madrid want 85 in pounds. Chouameni is going to be 300k a week. Are we going to do the deal? I think we should. But look, do not be spun around. This could be spin or a panic. I would like to think that it's a panic, but also, guys, somebody made a good point, and I can't remember who made the point. When has a panic buy ever turned out right. So look, let's file this under something is happening. Look, something is happening because something has to happen. We are talking to Bournemouth. I can tell you this for a fact. We're talking to Bournemouth. We are trying. We're talking to Bournemouth. Chouameni, there's something clearly now going on with that deal. There is some, well, it's not a deal, but there's something clearly going on. There is something clearly that we are briefing the media. It's either spin or we're going to try to do that deal. But look, if it happens, it's happening now. It hasn't been happening. So anybody that tries to claim Chouameni's been done for weeks and they've known it's been done for weeks are talking bollocks. I will call them out because it's starting to happen now. Starting to happen now. So look, let's go through some more of these chats before I do my impression of Harry Kane. They're saying it's done. No, it's not done. Do you think we'll sign any top players in this window? Well, when you say top players, I mean, look, Chouameni is possible. It's still possible. I think that can happen. Alex Scott can still happen at the moment. Baleba, I know people are not the biggest fan of his, but I still think he's a top player. Sangare's out there. So look, we will sign players, but I think we're not going to be signing the Morgan Rogers. We're not going to be signing those types of players. So I think we're going to sign players. I think we will sign a elite type of player. But let's see. To stop the noise, we might start handing out timeouts to people repeating the United stand or other channels news like deals done. They're not there. They're never right. Let's stop this now. Did you laugh at Harry Kane's Marge Simpson impression? I just remembered it. Chouameni would be nice. Says KK legend. Kone, yes. Again, KK, I agree with you. Kone has been mentioned. We've mentioned Kone on this channel. The only problem with Kone for me, injury record, it is abysmal. Go and check out his injury record. Manu Kone's injury record is abysmal. It is absolutely horrific. It reads like a horror story, but I have heard Kone as well. JB, can we end on Kane losing his voice? I will try to do that one. I think that Terry, it's the same person. He seems unbiased. Well, look. What's the best realistic signings that we can make for the midfield? Look, I think at the moment, I think Baleba. Sander Berge, Santos. I think Santos. I think he's going to be the one to watch. Alex Scott, I know we're looking at Alex Scott. So I think Baleba, Santos, Alex Scott, maybe a Sangare, something along those lines. Chew, mainly for me, I'm not confident on it. I'm not. I really am not. Edison KK says, I hope he fails the medical. Terry, the Arsenal fan, he wears their kit. Chouameni is going to use this to sign a new contract. Yes. So look, Harry Kane. I'm not even sure if I can do like the Harry Kane thing now. He's just like, yeah, you're right, Gazer. No, that's awful. Yeah. Like Harry Kane. I mean, look, I'd love to sign Harry Kane. I would love to sign Kane. I can't. He was like, yes, I'm Harry Kane. I can't do it. But yeah, look, Kane, fantastic player. The voice of Marge Simpson, absolute legendary player. I love Harry Kane. I wish that we could sign Harry Kane. He might sound as if his balls have just dropped. But fantastic player, brilliant player. Can you do an impression of Hendo falling over? Yeah. Yeah. Um, no, I don't. I don't want to break my own arm. I do have work in the morning, so that's not going to be good. But look, guys. On that note, I am going to go. Um, it's going to be another interesting day. Nikarutsu is in the house just as I say goodbye. Nikarutsu comes in, the absolute legend of the channel, and I hope you're doing extremely well, my friend. I hope you are good. So, guys, I will be back tomorrow. And look, there will be no doubt some news tomorrow. Look, Chu and Maney will either develop. I think again, watch out. I think Chu and Maney's going to be the very next saga. It wouldn't surprise me. Look, it's not going to surprise me if we go for the player, but do not forget this. Chelsea are going to be there. This could be a new contract. I think it's going to be too expensive. But look, let's see. Keep an eye on Santos. I think the Santos deal could ramp up very, very quickly. We're going to know about Alex Scott as well, by the way. I think Alex Scott, we're going to know whether we're going to move away from that deal or look to pursue the deal. And Belabor as well. So let's see on that, guys. Nikarutsu, good evening, absolute legend. How are you doing? Hello and goodbye. Look, Nikarutsu, mate, I'm well, buddy. Absolute legend of this channel and a long time support. But look, guys, as I say, I will be back tomorrow. Look, thank you for being here. It doesn't matter if you spend a minute, a second, you've been here the whole time. I can't thank you enough for supporting the channel as you do. So look, guys, thank you so much. I will be back tomorrow at some point as well. Look, have a good rest of your morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are in the world. I'm JB. This is the United Devil channel, and I see you guys tomorrow. And yes, Paul, I'll be in Swansea. I'll be in Swansea soonish. But look, yeah, if I'll be in Swansea soonish. I'll give you a shout, and then we'll go for a beer. JB just want JB. I just want any midfielder at that point. And look, guys, you guys are fantastic. And look, I am JB. This is the United Devil channel, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.